aftermath of tragedy.
My brother was trying to save her, and he did. He saved her, and it cost him his life.
Loved ones saying their last goodbyes to the 8 people killed in the crowd surge at Saturday's Astroworld Festival.
He was a great kid, excellent student. He loves his grandparents.
But as authorities continue to piece together exactly what happened,
we're still trying to determine what caused the crowd to begin that surge.
victims and their lawyers aren't waiting.
In this lawsuit, we intend to change the way concerts are put on, organized, promoted, and managed in the United States and in the world.
The festival had already been declared a mass casualty event at around 9:38 p.m, with the first patient treated 2 minutes later. But Travis Scott reportedly kept playing until 10:15. The question now, whether the rapper is culpable.
We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here. Somebody passed out right here.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night.
Travis Scott's team, the NRG team, everybody who was associated with this should be held accountable for the lives that were lost today and the day of.
Scott has twice pleaded guilty to charges related to inciting dangerous crowds. But this time...
Is there any evidence that you've collected that suggests in any way he initiated this?
No, not at this point. I'm not prepared to say that. I'm not prepared to say that he was fully aware of what's going on.
So do the many victims of this tragedy have a case against the face of the Astroworld Festival? Wow, Thomas J. Henry is a lawyer representing 75 of the injured victims, and he joins us now. Thomas, can you tell us a little bit first off about the range of people you're representing?
The people I represent range from teenagers to individuals in their 40s. So you have a wide spectrum of both men and women and people that are not adults. And these people are psychologically injured, physically injured, people have broken bones, internal injuries, etc.
You're suing Travis Scott and Drake. Surely crowd control is not their responsibility, though?
Of course it's their responsibility. They're performers. They're there to entertain. They have a duty and responsibility to make sure that the people that come to see them are safe. They're receiving compensation for that. And they, along with the promoters, are responsible. There are many people responsible for that.
Thomas, I'm a bit confused as to why that is. Surely at any kind of music gig, you get a number of performers on stage at different times. Surely it's not each of their responsibility to be across security for the event?
Well, think about it. Let's talk about Travis Scott. He's already a criminal that's been convicted of enticing crowds. He's already been arrested for doing it. And so, of course, he has a responsibility. The law implies and specifically states you can't do those kinds of things. So absolutely, they have a responsibility, and they have a responsibility to shut down a concert when people are being injured or killed.
It is an interesting line, though. I assume people go to concerts to be excited by the performers. What's the difference between inciting and exciting a crowd?
Death and injury.
But those are outcomes rather than conduct. So there has to be a way, doesn't there, of figuring out what the conduct is that's unacceptable. Like, what is it that someone standing on stage can say to the audience that crosses the line? Is there a way to draw that line that doesn't rely on hindsight?
Well, no. I mean, absolutely, you want to have foresight, not hindsight. So it's not like you just have a bad event and it's an accident. These are matters that could be prevented through planning and proper preparation. And there are many performers on stage that have said, I'm stopping the concert now. That's happened. Performers have done that. And so there needs to be a better quality of performer getting up there and having the courage to say, I'm stopping this now.
The fire chief, though, says that there's no evidence at this point that they knew what was going on and that they were prepared or that they were inciting it. So do you have specific evidence of that the fire chief doesn't?
Sure. The officials declared a mass casualty 37 minutes before the concert ended, and all their producers were informed. Not only that, Travis Scott had the chief of police in his dressing room before the concert ever happened saying, listen, this is dangerous. There is a dynamic going on that concerns us. So, of course, they were aware of all the potential issues and the real issues that were unraveling at that scene.
Thomas, sadly, we also had a death at a concert here, and after that they put in mandatory D barriers to segregate the crowd and reduce those crushes. I know there were some barriers in place there. Do you feel that they weren't enough, or were they the wrong type of barriers?
I think there's going to be a lot of issues about the size and the weight and the configuration of barriers. And I do believe that there wasn't sufficient barriers, and I believe they could have separated this crowd in a much safer manner so that this wouldn't happen.
Thomas, we certainly wish all your clients the very best from here. It's a terrible situation they've had to face. It'll be a fascinating case to watch unfold. Thank you very much for sparing some time for us.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Gosh, seeing that vision is so difficult, but when you see those people crying out for help in a massive crowd like that, like, who's going to get to you when you're in the middle of all those people? You know, it's so terrifying, because when you've got a mass of people that big moving as one, it's just absolutely frightening.
You know what it feels like even when there's not an actual crowd surge, just the busyness of people dancing around. Sometimes you can feel overwhelmed and you can feel squashed, let alone if something's actually, there's an entire crowd of 50,000 people surging forward.
Yeah. It's so sad. Like, some of my happiest memories of being young and being a teenager, I had dreadlocks and I looked ridiculous. Some of my happiest memories were being in pits at concerts and having the best time, and to think that some of those kids just don't get to go home.
No, it's terribly sad, yeah. But that's why I think the case is really important, though, because if they find out that they made some really terrible mistakes, then that's an easy fix. And you can sort of say, well, yes, this is a tragic thing, but there's no reason for it to happen again. There's none of that sort of stuff. The really horrible thing would be if they found that actually what they did was mostly reasonable and that's fine. And then you would have
what does that mean for concerts going forward?
Yeah, totally.
Sending my kid to a 14-year-old to a concert of 50,000 people, a concert of someone he absolutely loves, and saying, no, it's not safe. Like, that's a...
Especially certain kinds of concert where like, crowd involvement is such a big part of the experience of being within it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot on this, I think.
There is.